Welcome, everybody. So glad to see you. Thank you for joining us. This is our In the Black live stream. This will probably be a quick one. We did a patch this week that's up on Steam right now. I also thought we would take a quick look at some of the feedback we've received. We have a nice report that I'll go over that was prepared by a great team that our team is working with called Art and Blue. As many of you know, the trailer released about a week ago. We've seen amazing response. Thank you so much for everyone who's been sharing and liking and commenting. We're trying to do our best to keep up with all the comments. We're prioritizing answering people's questions and comments up on Steam, our Discord as well, obviously, and also the videos that we're seeing, including the trailer. Also want to really give a big thanks to the streamers who have been streaming our game, checking out the demo. Which again is live and will remain live indefinitely. So we hope that everyone out there who is interested in checking out what the team is developing within the Black checks out the demo, which is on Steam. That really gives you the best kind of feel for the Newtonian physics and the general kind of aesthetic of the game. It's definitely not for everybody. This is a very niche game, which is why we're very passionate about it and have been working on it for so long. So we hope that it's connecting with the people that are looking for something like this. So one of the things we wanted to do is for the demo especially, and as we get ready for early access, which we've been pretty public about that we want to release as close to the end of the year as possible. So that means could be in December, it could be January. It really depends on how the team is able to address the questions, the optimization requests, the bugs, feature requests that have been coming in from the demo that released during Steam Next Fest that wrapped up a couple weeks ago. So basically, we're prioritizing all that feedback, all the comments we're getting on Steam and the Discord server for In the Black, where we have a great community that's posting every day. Even some people from the aeronautics and space industry are there, which is really nice to see. Really thankful for their input. One of the things that I thought was going to be really impactful for the team, especially for getting ready for early access, was incorporating a feedback system. Obviously, if we want people to check out the game and try it, not getting their feedback. It looks like I'm getting a message from our producer here, Dave Westman. So let me see if I can shoot him a quick invite, and then he will join me, which will be great. I should have probably said this at the start. My name is Edmar, so I'm the founder of the studio, but I'm not really involved in the day-to-day project. I started the studio and I help cover a lot of the background expenses for the studio. But we have a core team that works on the project day to day. And Dave Westman, who's here. There he is. Hey, Dave, there he is.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Welcome. I'm so glad you're able to join us. I was all by myself, but it was okay. But I'm so glad you're here. Dave Westman is our producer on the project, as I mentioned a minute ago, and many people will recognize the games he's worked on, which include Star Wars X-Wing TIE Fighter, Blood Wake, Saints Row. There's one more big one I'm forgetting.
Chronicles of Riddick: Escape from Butcher Bay.
There you go. As you can see, Dave is an avid reader, also big on board games, and also obviously very big on space games. So really glad to have you join us today. So Dave, I was just telling everybody, so I'm not involved in the project day to day. I really, my effort really is to help kind of connect with the community, especially on the weekends with these live streams, take people's questions, which again, if I didn't mention it earlier, we definitely invite people to post their comments and questions in the chat. We will do our best to cover them. The idea is to make this live stream probably up to a half hour long. Could be a little more, a little less. Really depends on the type of questions we have and news to cover for the week. So I was mentioning that, Dave, one of the things that I thought was super important for the demo was that we incorporate an in-game feedback system. I think you're familiar with the game that kind of inspired this, Subnautica, that incorporated a really impactful feedback system. By pressing one key in the game, F8, you have a dialog box that comes up where you can submit a suggestion or a bug, and that goes directly to the team, where the team can sort it and prioritize, group the common ones together. That has been very impactful, I think. Subnautica said it was one of the things that really helped their game, and I think that's true for us too. I'm going to, as one of the reasons for having a studio like this that we kind of own and manage, and we don't have any kind of big publisher to answer to or anything like that, was that we can afford to be very transparent, because that's what we want to do as a community studio. Another reason for doing these live streams. Speaking of which, I don't want to forget, thank our associate producer, Al Wood, who actually has been helping put together some of the content for these live streams. Most recently, you're looking at right now, the space background we've got here, space station, the orbital station that's spinning. Al helped put that together. Also, the initial screens you may have seen when we opened up. Big thanks to our technical lead artist, our lead technical artist, Remco, who worked on that with Al, and the sizzle trailer, which looked really cool. Okay, so I'm jumping around a little bit, but the idea was we're getting this great feedback, and I thought that this, in the spirit of transparency, I wanted to kind of share a report that our partner Art and Blue had put together, which I think is very insightful. But before I do that, Dave, let me ask you one thing. So bring me up to speed on what happened this week. I've been away, so I really haven't seen anything. I know you guys put out a big patch just the other day, right?
Yeah. We're finally making it a routine to do frequent updates, and the patch notes go out automatically, so everybody can keep track of what's been fixed, what new things are in there. We're even giving heads up on the things that we're working on that aren't available in the build yet, but just to let people know that we are responding to the feedback. And some of this is to address what you were saying earlier about how valuable a feedback system like this is. It lets us know what people actually care about, because as developers, sometimes you get a little bit obsessive about the things that bother you the most. And there are things in the game that I grit my teeth every time I see it, and I really want to fix it. But then we see that none of the players are saying anything about it. So clearly it's not a big priority to fix it. Whereas things that we've maybe gotten used to, and we so used to that we've either stopped noticing it or we've got a workaround, so we just blow past the thing. But then now new players are playing it for the first time. It's super annoying to them, and they speak up about it, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, please fix this. This is so annoying." That becomes a top priority. That I try to explain to my students too is that same philosophy is listen to your players. They'll tell you what's important.
Well, so I have the patch notes on the screen, and looks like you guys tackled a bunch of stuff this week, and the stuff actually looks like it's directly related to what we're talking about, and the feedback we're getting from players. So the two main things that I see listed here in the patch notes, and for those who aren't following the Steam page, that's a great place to go for the latest on all kind of news, including patch notes. But we also post regular updates, and any kind of notable news is there. So definitely check out our community hub, and that's where we have a pretty lively discussion forum area where players are posting and giving their first reactions. Okay, so here we go. Several bug fixes and quality of life updates. Most notable, gameplay and tutorial improvements. We've done a revamp of the weapons tutorial. So that was pretty big, right? Because I remember a lot of players, I would say, so at least from my point of view, and Dave, you correct me, but it seems like the people who have a lot of experience with space sims especially, have been able to kind of really kind of slide in the black nicely. I think some of the players who had a really difficult time are the ones who don't have a lot of experience with space sims. And that's on us, right? Because we have to train the pilots so they know what they're doing. So that was one of the big pieces of feedback we've received throughout the demo, and that they didn't know what was the difference in some of the weapons, what was their range, when should you use one for which. So the team's been working on a weapons tutorial. So now you can freely rotate your ship from the start of the tutorial, removing forced aim alignment. This prevents issues with ship drift during the railgun section and improves player agency. That's great. And then obviously the basic flight training enhancements are also really impactful. Instruction text now animates to maintain player focus. Visuals adjusted to improve readability. Asteroids, background, and clutter reduced. New logic zeros player velocity when movement goals are achieved to reduce false detection. What does that mean, Dave? I don't even understand what that sentence means.
Well, because you'd put the movement input that you were directed to do, and you're waiting to achieve a certain velocity, and the game is supposed to detect that and then tell you the next direction to fly in. And not sure exactly what the hiccup was, but sometimes it didn't detect it properly, and you'd
I see.
be drifting, basically trying to wondering why isn't it acknowledging that I did what it asked me to do?
Right.
And so yeah, this logic fix should solve that.
Nice.
There's some there's just some basic enhancements that became obvious. Some of them were bugs, like in the weapons training one, that the two initial Shrike targets took an insanely high number of rounds to destroy, and they're really just supposed to take 10, 20 rounds tops. And that was the thing, is like, if this is your very first experience of the game and you're getting super frustrated on the first practice target, maybe you kind of rage quit.
Yeah, totally. I would.
So yeah, I was super happy to see that get fixed.
And I see free look sections now require players to look at designated targets to progress.
Yeah, and that in the original version, it just went on too long, and you had to rotate around, following the dots, and it was just a little excessive. It's much better now, and there's two parts to it that are free look and then aiming the ship to
Nice.
achieve the same result. So
Great.
and it goes really quick. The next down the road fix that I would want, not really a fix, an improvement, is for the flight one, is to really get it into people's heads about inertia and managing your propellant, and not just hold down full thrust all the time.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things that people who aren't used to this type of Newtonian physics, and you can't blame them, right? Because it's really not something that you've seen done in an interactive way before. You see it in movies, movies that and TV shows like The Expanse, where they've really been true to real science. But in a video game, not so much. I think it's one of the players. One of the comments I saw that I thought was so nice to see was, this is the most fun they've had playing a game since Kerbal Space Program 1, which is also a game that I think takes a little bit of learning. And it's I think, but because of that, it becomes a lot more fun to play. I want to welcome I see some new people joining the live stream, so thanks for joining us today. Most people, I think, will be watching this live in their own time zone. We're doing it on Saturday, so hopefully people are sleeping in. But this is available always on our YouTube channel. If you just go to the In the Black channel, you will see this under the live section, so you can watch it anytime. Okay, but let's welcome some people here. I see our great Discord admin, Frosty Donuts, aka Paul Hessling. Really fantastic guy. Paul, thanks for joining us, and thanks for all your help on the Discord server. He helps manage our In the Black fan Discord server as a great courtesy. So, good friend in the industry and expert on Discord management. So if you need help, let me know. I'll put you in touch. Look at this. I'm not surprised to see this person here. Snipers are 5 years. That's pretty good, because we hardly ever go on Twitch. So I think the idea now is that we'll go on Twitch every week, every Saturday, like clockwork, whether I have a lot to share and have teams with me, or it's just going to be me and just sharing something really quick about what the team accomplished this past week and what they've told me they're going to be focusing on over the next week. So it's a good chance for me to catch up with everybody, including Dave here. So great to have this opportunity to chat with you, Snipers are. Snipers are is one of the best players in the game. I don't think that's an exaggeration. Is it?
No.
Look, I mean, his name kind of says it all. So Snipers are, you're an amazing player. I'm so glad to have you part of the community. People like you are really what help inspire the developers to work on projects like this. So very cool. Okay, and we have a good question here I can answer. This comes in from YouTube about the release date. So we want to do a very fast follow to the demo of the early access build. What does that mean? So that means I mentioned early in the beginning, you might have missed it, but we're really going through all the feedback we've received from the demo and continue to receive in the demo because it's still live and will remain live to know what we got to fix and optimize to have the early access launch be as successful as possible on day one, right? It's really important that when you launch early access, there are no major problems with the game. You might not have all the content there, but the game had better be running very well, better be relatively bug-free. And maybe not all the optimizations are there, but it should run. The performance should be pretty good. We definitely don't want to have people having problems with UI and game breaking stuff. That's a big no-no. So we want to make sure all that stuff is addressed. I have great news though. The early access build is in really nice shape. We are very happy with it. We are addressing some of the issues that are included in this patch. And there's a new one coming, actually. I'll scroll down a little bit. Well, we'll talk about UI targeting in a second, but there's we'll talk about that now because I want to talk about something else in a second. But to short answer your question is, we think that the early access will be available near the end of the year. It's November 1st if you're watching this live. So that's pretty quick. So that means it could be at the end of this year, it could be the beginning of next year, but really close to the end of the year on one side or the other. So that's what we're really pushing for internally as a team. The developers who are working on the project full time during the day, that's their that's their mission. And I think we're tracking nicely. We'll keep you updated. Obviously, that's one of the reasons for doing these live streams. So stay tuned. Very nice comment from NK Powers. Thank you. I am too. I can't wait. This has been a baby of mine before my even own baby was born, and she's 12 now. So it's been in the oven for quite some time. So here we go. We have a question regarding head tracking with EA or not, and that is a definitely yes from my point of view, right? So I'm pushing the team to actually as a hard request for me to have that head tracking in. I think it's very important. I've already shipped the test units to a great coder who's working with a team that has a lot of experience with head tracking. And actually, the developer was formerly from Epic Games, where he was led the head tracking integration there. So hopefully that gives you some faith. And I don't see any reason why that won't be in for early access. I think the only caveat there was that if the early access was working awesome for everything else, and that was the one thing that was kind of waiting on, but we had a good end date for it, would decide to release early access just so that everyone else can enjoy it. Not everyone uses head tracking. It's a pretty small percentage of players, but a very important segment of players. So that's the only thing, right? Whether it really is that critical that we want to hold it up for everybody else maybe another couple of weeks or something. But that is absolutely on our near-term roadmap and already in progress. I can actually safely say, because like I said, we've shipped the units to the developer working on it. So I think to get more specific, we're talking about Toby and Track IR, two great companies with head tracking. There may be other ones, so we'll look at those. But those are the two ones that we have the team focused on right now, specifically that one developer I just mentioned. Here we go. Here's another comment from Snipers. This is the whole reason why we're doing this live stream, so thank you for these comments. My primary concerns are around netcode improvements and or dedicated servers. Any behind-the-scenes summary you could share on that front? That's a great question. For people who may not be familiar with my background, my original background is I was a producer at THQ. I worked on a couple games, one Frontlines, Homefront. And then I went on to do business development for a multiplayer game hosting company. I worked directly with Discord. I consider myself kind of friendly with one of the founders. Really nice guy, Stanislav. So I helped them with their infrastructure and also assisted Rocket League. So my with the same thing with server infrastructure. So my background and expertise is actually multiplayer gaming. And on Frontlines and Homefront, I was in charge of our getting the right partners and server providers and making sure our team was leveraging all the tools to make dedicated servers work. So this is, long story short, this is something that's near and dear to my heart. I would love to support dedicated servers. It really comes down to how well the game does in early access and what level of support we can give to dedicated servers. Of course, netcode improvements, that's always happening. That's always happening in the background. I'm very impressed that they get how well they're playing game, how well the game plays currently. But I think obviously having dedicated servers will allow us a couple of huge things. One is much bigger multiplayer games in terms of the number of players. Dave, how awesome would that be to have 10v10, 15v15, like huge space battles, right? And that stuff, those doors open when you have dedicated servers. So I really hope that. But if you're seeing if you're seeing specific problems with networking, absolutely let us know if you haven't already in the feedback, so we can prioritize that and make sure you put your name on there so I know it's you, and the team knows to pay very special attention. So we hope, we hope that dedicated servers will be part of our. It's this very similar thing with VR support. Dave, I know you're a big fan of VR. When we recorded that Kickstarter video way back when in New York City, we had the units with us. That was always the plan to support VR at some point. We were hoping that the Kickstarter would be a huge mega success and that we could do all this stuff at once. But mixed blessing, it wasn't a big success. We failed our first Kickstarter because we really explained the vision without having any prototyping to show off. We learned our lesson, worked on a prototype. About a year later, we launched a Kickstarter again, and that was successful, albeit at a much lower amount, because we did our prototype, so we didn't need as much money anymore. So again, trying to be super honest and transparent with everybody on what our needs are. So we released that scoped game from that Kickstarter. We released what we promised. And we were realistic in what we could promise. And the Kickstarter backers all got that game. They got what they paid for. We still have some more subs to deliver in terms of some rewards in the final game for the Kickstarter, which we're excited about. But the features were in the game. We released that, but the team, and specifically myself, I did not feel that Kickstarter version of the game was strong enough and feature rich enough and just compelling enough to release on a wider commercial release. And you only get, I say this a lot, you only get one chance at an introduction to players. So you better make sure that what you're releasing is representative of what your vision is, or else they might not come back. And Dave was talking about rage quitting before. So I didn't feel like that was strong enough. So what we did is we went back to dev and just continued building on top of the Kickstarter, reworking some things, stripping some things out, adding new stuff in. We're on Unreal 4.2.6, I believe, right now. So that's probably where we're going to stay. Moving past that would actually cause more problems and solve in the near term. So anyway, so that is the with VR. There's definitely some hardcore VR fans that would love this, but I'll be very transparent. It's a very small number of the overall player base, like very small. Like I don't see very small to minimize those players because it's awesome, it's great, but the truth is, most gamers do not have VR, and it's not. So putting that developer money and time into a feature that only a very small number of people will enjoy. I think it's great when games can do that, but they're doing that because they have the resources and the money to be able to say, let's just do this because we want to do it. And, we have a lot of resources and cash. So let's do that. We're not at that point yet. We're definitely not at that point yet. We're in the red, not in the black. So I think that's a big goal and something that I promise once we have the resources to do, it's one of the first things we're going to get some folks on.
I think it is sometimes a little surprising when you learn just how small a percentage of the player base has a particular set of hardware, whether it's high-end joysticks, ultra-wide monitors. I was shocked that the number is so low. That Steam data tells us that it's like 1% of players have ultra-wide monitors. I was convinced it had to be higher because I really want full support for my ultra-wide monitor.
Yeah.
And getting back to the Kickstarter, we actually over-delivered in a number of areas.
That's true. Yes, that's a good point.
So there was kind of a trade-off, which is common in the industry. We're working on Bloodwake. We made it a point of pride that we submitted our milestone deliveries like a week early, which was unheard of and kind of shocked Microsoft. But over time, it earned us a lot of respect and trust. But it was also gave us something to negotiate. If the milestone called for very specific deliverables that we fell short in one area, but we could over deliver in another area, quite often that was like, yeah, okay, cool. And if it wasn't, hey guys, we got a week to crunch. We got to get this thing done.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't think, I know to Robert's point here, I don't think VR is going to be a huge lift. I've been very pleasantly surprised that the game works really well on Steam Deck. I was expecting we had to do a lot of optimization to get that to work. So I do think that VR can be a relatively low lift, but again, it's priority, right? We have to work with the things that are really higher priority based on the number of players and the impact it will have. But I have VR. I've got several sets behind me. My drawers back there. I have VR, and I'm a big fan. I think this is the perfect game for VR. I've said this many times. So no doubt we'll do it as long as early access is able to be. And you can all help in that. Spread the word in the game. The more players we have, the more we can do. Jade, this is a question for you. So I'm going to put this on the screen. This comes in from YouTube. Can ships outrun missiles with high G? That's a good one. You'd have to have pretty good thrust.
Yeah, you would. I'm trying to think. Currently, the Hyperion's acceleration is probably the best. You'd have to already be going pretty fast when somebody launched a missile. And here's the other problem, though, is the launching ship's velocity is transferred to the missiles that it launches. So theoretically, you could outrun a missile. I haven't seen that happen yet.
That's a good question.
But now I want to test it. I want to see.
That'd be great. That'd be a great video. I would love to see that. That's a good question. Well, thank you for sharing that. Okay, so back to the patch. So the other thing that the team has been working on was UI and targeting. New line drawer widget. I think this work has mostly been done by our lead tech artist Remco. So versatile anti-alias line drawing system for HUD and tactical UI supports dashed lines, directional highlights, and screen edge guidance to better locate off-screen or target enemies. This is something we've seen a lot of suggestions and requests for to improve that. So I'm really happy we was able to get that in. Zoom said this is also a huge one. I've never seen the word Zoom so much on forums or on Discord. But it's important, right? When you're targeting, having a good Zoom system is pretty critical. So I think the team has done a fantastic job taking that feedback and improving what's now called the ATZ or Auto Track Zoom. So let us know what you think of that.
I am thrilled because this was something that I was asking for years. And it took a large number of demo players to make the rest of the team realize, oh, okay, I guess we should probably do that now. And it's so transformative. I was watching a Twitch streamer play it, and he was just using the default zoom. And so I told him how to magnify the zoom, and his eyes just lit up. And he's like, oh my gosh, this is so much better. And one of the things, I'm a huge sci-fi fan, of course, and Battlestar Galactica is one of my favorite TV series. And the first time I started playing with our new zoom, it reminded me of the combat sequences in Battlestar Galactica, the way they would zoom the camera and shake around a little bit. And I just like, this is so cinematic. And now I can really see what I'm shooting at, which is always good. Yeah.
Now, Robert actually asked a point here. I don't know if we'll have to ask it to Remco. It's great to have more zoom, but I'd like a manual alternative on an analog axis.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's the more realistic that the cockpit gets with these types of settings, the more overwhelming I think it can be for new players. The balance is trying to find out what it works for most players, while maybe having those customization settings available for more veteran pilots. So That's good. We'll give that feedback. The team watches these live streams afterwards and looks at the comments, so you'll see what you're posting here. And again, if you're joining in late, this is our In the Black developer mission briefing. This is a weekly live stream that we do. This isn't a gaming stream, so you're not going to really see us playing the game that much on this one. This is really just to talk about what the teams are working on the past week, what we're working on next, and take some questions and feedback from the players in the chat. This is relatively short. We're at a half hour now, so not too much longer. Actually, Robert is pointing out that the binding exists in the settings. It's just ignored at the moment. So the other thing I wanted to point out is the UI refinements. New center screen masking function ensures HUD elements don't overlap critical space. So that's obviously a nice fix. Velocity vector switches to alternative display mode when it would conflict with weapon aim point, also important. Updated railgun crosshair for reduced clutter and improved recharge reload feedback. Nice. And ship editor layout updates began the process of improving usability and UI consistency for the ship editor. Very cool. So like Dave said earlier, that is our goal is to have a patch every week. I think they're trying to do every Tuesday. It's not always going to happen like that based on how things are looking, but that's the internal goal. So that gives you all the reason to come check out the game once a week to see what's been updated and see if we've been able to address any of your potential feedback. And I also see that there's been in the update, if you scroll down Steam update, Remco also shared work that is going to be going in soon, but not there yet. He kind of gave a little bit of a sneak peek. Let me see if I could share my screen here. So this is for people who have this build on Steam. You could see this already on the Steam page. So this is, let me make that bigger for everybody. Input system rework. So he wanted to share here what he's working on for the next patch is. I don't know how soon this is, but this is obviously a huge thing for joystick players and people who have a lot of different bindings. One of the issues was that it wasn't saving correctly, right? So you'd leave the game and the bindings would not be saved when you came back. So anyway, so he's working, we're trying to improve that system. We're nearing completion on the full input system overhaul, which includes major improvements to both the settings menu and the underlying input management framework. Current focus is on finalizing profile saving, loading, importing, and exporting, along with extensive front-end refinements for a smoother configuration experience. He provided a sneak peek at the UI here. I'm not sure how good this is going to show on my screen here, but again, if you check out the Steam page, you can look at this more carefully. Yeah, it's a little blurry, so you'll have to go in, but you could see nice little customization options there. And he says at the bottom, not quite ready for release yet, but it's close, and it represents a significant upgrade in reliability, customization, and overall usability compared to the current system. So big thanks for Remco for working on that, and big thanks to all the players out there for providing that feedback to guide us in these improvements. Speaking of great feedback, we released our maybe I'll play the trailer here, so because it's only a minute and a half long, but we released our trailer last week, and my goodness, it's really interesting me catching up on things on the weekends because I get to see stuff like this, which is big jumps in visibility and interest from players. And this early access trailer has gotten amazing feedback. Let's take a look at it, everybody. If maybe some people here haven't seen it, and I always like looking at it anyway. So this is just about 90 seconds, but sit back or have a piece of popcorn.
All hands, Zenith approaching for launch. Open the main hangar door. All personnel return to hard G stations and prepare for combat lockdown.
Rookie, you've got multiple bandits approaching your position. That's it. Hang on tight. You've got incoming missiles.
I'm under attack! I'm hit!
We're counting on you to clear a path for us to safely reach the station.
Engage scrambled response, but they won't be in effective range for 32 seconds.
All Alpha level personnel report to engineering.
On me.
Watch your six.
I love that trailer. A big thank you to Nathan on our team, aka Flumpy Squid, who does a lot of our videos, our video editing, content creation, along with many members of the community that helped with that, including, looks like Snipers is in this trailer. That's amazing. Which team was it? Put it in the chat. But that's really awesome. I think, Purple Peggy, there you go. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. So that, we would love to see people upload more clips. That would be great so that other people can see what the gameplay is like. And anyway, we've been really overwhelmed and really touched by all the great feedback we're getting on the trailer, as comments on the trailer. I think upwards of over 60,000 views already in 1 week, which is very impressive for an indie game like this that is so niche. So I want to thank each of you out there. I'm sure many of you out there watching have one of those people have watched it and maybe upvoted it. So please continue to do that. That's great. And let others know. Share it online. Record your own clips. That would be great. Really. Okay. So speaking of all the players, Dave, if you have a couple minutes, I can go over really quick the report we got from Ardent Blue. I mentioned earlier in the live stream about summarizing some of our feedback we've got. Again, in the spirit of great transparency and community collaboration, I wanted to really share this with everybody so they can see kind of what we're looking at from a broader perspective of the player base in terms of, let me see can I make this any bigger? Is it going to make me? All right, so let me make it bigger. Let me see if I can fix this. Sorry, 1 sec. I don't want everybody to be able to see this clearly. So let me zoom in on this. So basically what we have here, it's not going to let me do it. Oh, wait, here it is. I'm getting there. There we go. There we go. Okay. Hopefully everybody can see that. Okay. So that player feedback system that's in game right now, you just press F8, brings up that screen, as I mentioned earlier. If you don't know about that feature, please use it. It's so helpful. It is much more helpful than getting feedback on the Steam discussion forum or on Discord. Why is it more helpful? Because this is tied directly to our systems and our backend. So we can easily sort through, categorize, mark things as duplicates, prioritize. It is so valuable and helpful. That does not mean that we don't take feedback that's provided on Steam or on Discord very seriously. We do. It's just a lot more labor to get that, and not everything comes over as cleanly as when we get it directly from your words here. So we took a look, or Ardent Blue, I should say, great partners, Alex and Ed. Big shout out to them for their help on this project. Sometimes you have to rely on other teams, other developers to help you. As I mentioned, we have a great specialist doing the head tracking right now. His name's Max, by the way, really, really great guy from Head Crash. And Ardent Blue has been helping us with some other kind of items that our core team really can't focus on right now, including last weekend. I think Alex did this on his own. I didn't get a bill for it yet, but if it's not coming, either way, thank you, Alex. Happy to pay. But I think he did this on the weekend. Alex Papasau is a really great developer in the industry. If you guys need any contracting work with developers, Ardent Blue, great team. Okay, so they put this together for us. Executive summary. I think at the time to generate this report, which was during the Steam Next Fest, we had about almost 500 feedback reports submitted from players. And as you can see, the top category here was not input controls actually, or joysticks, which is so funny because if you look at comments online, it's like, oh my God, that's a very vocal group of people. Not to say we don't want to fix that, because we are, obviously, we talked about it earlier. But most of the comments had to do with tutorial onboarding new player experience, which absolutely makes sense for all the reasons that we talked about earlier, and that this is a game you have to learn. Like Dave, you probably were not too surprised about that, right?
No, over all the years of making games, I've learned that the onboarding experience is extremely important to get it right, to make it something that players hopefully enjoy, but don't actively dislike. It's like when you force players to take a tutorial, um, and it's not even fun. That's a all that's kind of a sour taste right off the bat. So ensuring
Yeah.
you get introduced to the game's mechanics in a way that's effective. It's like, okay, yeah, I get it. I know what I'm supposed to do. Maybe I'm not so good at it, but I know what I need to do to get better.
Yeah.
And, and the goal has always been with a game like this that the the actual gameplay, the core mechanics are skill based and intrinsically rewarding, so that you get this virtuous spiral of, okay, I'm starting to enjoy this, and the more I play it, the more I enjoy it. The more I enjoy it, the more I want to play, and then I get better because I'm playing it more, and oh, I'm enjoying
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, the first step is making sure that you have good tutorials and good onboarding.
Yeah, so that's one of the reasons why the patch this week was done, and they'll continue to see improvements. The next item we see here, actually regarding the feedback, I see Snipers are asking, is there a way to put a tracking number between what we submit from the game client, so by pressing F8 in game, and discussions we start in Discord threads? There's really not, actually. And it's also helpful if people want us to be able to respond to you on something. We let you know if you have a follow-up question on it. Put your email address. It's optional on the feedback form. But if you want us to get in touch with you, I'll put your email address on there. I'll see. I'm not sure if there's a way. It could be. This is a good feature request. So Alex Toulon in our team, great developer. He has been working with his feedback system. So let me ask Alex what he thinks about that idea. Is there a way for us? I guess you would have to generate. You'd have to generate a number in real time on the feedbacks form and display that to the player. Or if there's an email address, then we could send you an identification. So that looks like that might be possible. And then when we're back in work, but I like it. This is so ideally. So this is one thing our feedback system does not have, and it really should, because Subnautica does use this. You can include screenshots or video in your feedback report. So that's a great point, Snipers are, and duly noted. And I agree with you 100%. So we'll look into that. Okay. So executive summary. So we looked at the feature request came in second place. Lots of items there. Of course, when gamers play a game, they always have ideas for everything. I love ideas. I think that's great. But truth be told, many ideas that people submit don't make sense from a game design perspective, right? I understand why you would think that. Listen, I play games and I know. Oh, what about this? Lots of ideas. There are lots of reasons why ideas don't work. That doesn't mean I want you to stop sending them in. But they're not. It's not just a matter of okay, just do this. It's really easy. There's a huge balance in between lots of different systems that make it really challenging to just throw in a random feature request. But we definitely take them all seriously, and we look at each one of them. So we mentioned about the controls and inputs recognition problems. So yeah, that came in at only 4%, but still, like those are important players in this genre. So that's why we're paying a lot of attention to it. We also have a better breakdown of. I'm not going to guide you through all the pages here, but this is a pretty in-depth look at different feedback we received. This is text directly from players. So anyway, so you can see it's a lot. So we look at it all, and we really appreciate everyone sending in those feedback reports, and hope you continue to do so. Yes, Robert. True words have not been spoken. Ideas are cheap. Ideas are very cheap. That's true. They're great, but it's anyone can come up with an idea. It's the ability to
Well, something that continues to surprise me as a designer is quite often something that, in my mind, at least conceptually, it seems pretty simple, pretty straightforward. And then I talk to the programmers and they explain to me how, no, it's actually really complicated. It touches on all these different systems, and it's going to take a while, and it's going to be risky. And are you sure you really need this? And other times things that I have assumed are going to be very complicated. Oh no, I can get that done this afternoon. Like what? Oh, okay, great. Let's do it.
Okay, I think we're just about out of time here. I think I'll leave. I might have played this in last week's live stream, but I think we have some new people watching. So I'm going to show a couple of quick tutorial vids. We're trying to develop a series of tutorials that are really short to teach people different aspects of the game. So these short videos, we're putting them on social. So check out our YouTube page if you want to see them all. But I have two here that I think might be super helpful. Again, big thanks to Nathan and Al who helped put this together. This one, they're only about a minute long each. There's only two of them, so I'll play each one here. And they're in portrait mode for your phone, but you get the idea here very nicely. So they're only about a minute long. This first one's on flight model. So let's take a look at this.
Here are 4 unique features of our hardcore space simulator's flight model. Number 1, the physics are Newtonian in nature. An object in motion stays in motion unless acted on by an outside force. Momentum will carry you and your ship until thrust is applied or a much larger object interrupts your flight path. 2, using your main engine to speed up or slow down takes the same amount of time. You control every move with your engines, so planning burns carefully is key. Decelerating using your RCS thrusters will always be slower. 3. RCS thrusters allow you to move in any direction, regardless of motion. Strafe, rise, dive, or rotate. Every movement is under your control. That being said, 4. Changing course isn't instant. You either stop and start in a new direction, or use a combination of your RCS thrusters and main engine to change course over time in an arc towards your target. That's it. 4 features that make In the Black's flight model unlike anything else.
Very cool. That's very helpful, I think, especially for new players to understand how that works. Very different from other space games, obviously, including Dave, some of the games you've worked on, right? Because those games leverage kind of like is it considered World War II flight mechanics? Is that
It was. George Lucas took his inspiration from World War II movies, and the engine that we made the X-Wing series was originally used to make World War II air combat games. And it was that, while I was making those that I was thinking then, what would it look like if it was realistic? Yeah. So I've been thinking about this for 30 years.
That's awesome. Well, it's so cool. And look, again, not to, we say this a lot, and not to dismiss the game. Those games are awesome and a lot of fun. This is just a different take on it. Okay, here's the other one that he did a few actually, but here's the second one I wanted to play today. Let's look at this one from Nathan.
Here are 4 unique features of our hardcore space simulator's flight model. Number 1, the physics are Newtonian in nature. An object in motion stays in motion unless acted on by an outside force. Momentum will carry you and your ship until thrust is applied or a much larger object.
Hold on, is that the same one I just played?
Yep.
It is. Okay. So okay, you know what? I see what it is. So there are 2 different titles on this. One's called Flight Models, one's called TDAM. All right, so you only have to watch that one once. I don't know if I put it twice.
There's one that's labeled TDAMP, but it doesn't actually.
Yeah, exactly. It's a wrong label.
Explain that. Okay.
Yeah.
Need to fix that because that is.
We'll fix it. I think if you go to our YouTube channel, those are all there. Let me see.
That is one of the single most important lessons to teach, which we don't teach very well, and that's why that video is needed. By default, there's pilot assist features turned on. One's the translational dampener and one's the rotational dampener. And it's designed so that novice pilots can basically point the ship in the direction they want to go, and the computer will sort it out and adjust things for you. If you turn those systems off, most players, once they're used to it, turn off the TDAMP. That's when you can do the drifting, where you've started accelerating in a certain direction, TDAMP's off, so now I can steer my ship to be looking behind me or to the side. I'm still going in that same vector at the same velocity, but now I can target things, shoot at things, especially anybody that is chasing me. And yeah, once you've mastered that, it really changes the dynamics of how you approach the tactical situations that you're in.
Okay, well, I just found that video on YouTube. I put the link in the chat. So anyone, if you're watching this on Twitch or YouTube, you should see the link there. That will bring you to the video that I meant to play a second ago. I don't have that raw video up on StreamYard, so I'm not going to attempt to play it from YouTube because it's just not going to look good. It won't sound good. So We'll maybe play it next week. But you can go to the YouTube channel. If you don't know where our YouTube channel is, maybe I should put that link in there. That's where all of our videos are. So here is that YouTube channel. I gave you a link straight to that video, but here's the link to the whole channel. Again, if this content and this game interests you, please like and subscribe. It's super helpful. It lets us know that we're doing something right here with these live streams. So please like this if this was a good experience for you and you want to see more of them. If you wanted us to touch on a certain topic next week, please let me know. I'm going to schedule next week's live stream in a few minutes on the calendar. It'll show up on as an event on our Discord server shortly as well. We have an area of our Discord server specifically for live streams, and I'm creating a thread for each live stream there. So if you want to follow up on something we talked about in this live stream, for example, go right to that thread for we're November 1st if you're watching live, or even if you're watching later. This is recorded November 1st. All right, Dave, I'm so glad you joined us. Really nice. I think this is great to have you here. And obviously, for anyone out there wondering about why it's just me on these live streams, or why I'm not just me, but why I'm putting them on. The team works very hard during the week, and I really want to give them the weekend to be with their friends, family, and have some fun and relaxing. So I don't want to put any pressure on the team to come to these live streams. They're doing work on the patches that you see that we shared earlier. So this is just my opportunity to connect with some fans, and great when Dave Westman can join us or others.
I like doing these.
Well, you're invited every week. You can come.
Yeah. Well, Saturday afternoons is for me. It's the afternoon, so it's.
That's right. You're in Netherlands. What time is it there now?
Yeah, it's just about 5 o'clock here.
Just about half the hour.
Yeah. And that's what it'll be in a moment. But yeah, Monday through Friday, I've got my full-time day job teaching, and so I work on In the Black in the evenings and on the weekends. And so, yeah, this for me, Saturdays are a really good time to connect with the community and catch up on the hundreds of messages.
Yeah, I know it is a lot to keep track. So everyone out there, we are doing our best to keep up with everything. I think we're doing a good job. Could we do a little better? Yes, but we have our developers focused on the game itself. So either we have them take pauses to help answer some of the questions, and which slows down development a little bit. So I think we got a nice balance going. Dave and others from the team who aren't involved in the direct development day to day, they've also been super helpful in their spare time. Dave teaches at a great university, Breda, and is in the Netherlands, as we said a minute ago. I only have really just the Saturdays mostly to work on the project. So this is my opportunity. This is my contribution here doing these live streams. Well, before we close out, I think I saw a good question here from Snipers that I think it's good for us to maybe wrap up the live stream with in terms of a little discussion point here. What would you say to potential players who might write this game off as being too focused on PvP or squad play and not enjoyable as a single player experience? Several of the people I've shared the trailer with have expressed sadness over the core Bloodsport experience. So this is an interesting question, because when we started the game way back when, the idea was that this was solely, when I pitched this and started work on it, it was solely a multiplayer game. That's it. It was only and the reason is, in my experience as a developer working on Frontlines and Homefront, where we had okay gameplay for each, but not stand out in one or the other. If you focus on one, either single player or you focus on multiplayer, you're going to do a better job on that, whatever you're focusing on, right? If you try to do everything, you won't do too well. Also, the other thing with single player is very tough to pull off in a really good way for most genres, because it's a lot of work, a lot of unique assets. You don't know, you have to plan lots of different variables. It's a very expensive also endeavor. However, what happened over time is that we realized that, the single player experiences that were really appealing to us when we played, myself and Dave and others on the team in X-Wing games and Wing Commander, was that type of, kind of linear single player experience that really immersed you in the narrative and the environment while giving you the experience to be a space pilot in these really cool and compelling missions. You felt like you were really the star of the show, right? Which is awesome. I remember playing those games in my basement and the lights off, and Such good memories. So what we discovered though over time though is that we started doing some single player stuff, which our early access has a single player component, and I think that there's an opportunity to do more and do it better. I see Dave's agreeing here, but what do you think, Dave? What's your take in the black in terms of single player and multiplayer?
Right now, it's actually kind of evenly split. We've added a lot of single player content, and the nice thing, what I like about the way the game is built, is that we can reuse assets, especially the maps, for multiple scenarios. So if you have multiple game modes, some of those modes are PvP, some of them are now co-op, and some of them are single player. And so we can really leverage the assets so that to address your point, when you're doing single player only, it does get insanely expensive to create assets that are only used for a short part of the overall game experience. And but yeah, to anybody that is put off by the multiplayer, because this was something that we heard during the Kickstarter campaign. People's like, oh, this looks really cool, but I don't want to play multiplayer online.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
And at the time, it was also a pragmatic choice based on the size of the team and the experience with the team. Not having an AI programmer kind of rules out having single player content. Over time, we have implemented enough AI so that, because it's needed in multiplayer too. If it's supposed to be a 5v5 match, but you've only got 3 human players in the match, well, you need bots. So yeah, I think we're able to meet the preferences of all players. You know, if you like space combat, and you prefer single player, we got you covered. If you prefer multiplayer, we got you covered. And now I'm thrilled that we've added co-op. That's something that I was really looking forward to.
That's a good point to shout out. Yeah, co-op is a great addition to the game. You know what I think this means, though? This question points to something. I think we need to work on a trailer that is even more, it points out the single player campaign, basically. And maybe we need to share more information on what the plan is for single player through early access and beyond. That makes sense.
The one aspect that some players might not find appealing is that we don't actually have a campaign. There's not a narrative-driven sequence of missions.
Yeah.
It's you go in, there's a random selection of contracts, and you choose one and you fly it, and then you come back and you choose a different one, and you keep flying. And a contract that you've already flown shows up again. But as you progress in and as you rank up, it unlocks higher hazard levels. So while it's the same search and destroy on Enceladus scenario, at the higher hazard levels, you're facing more difficult odds. The AI is now controlling better ships or more ships. So there's a progression there. And we have been thinking about narrative from the beginning. When it was multiplayer only, the idea was that we would collect the data over a season, say. So, a month of data is collected, and the conflict between two factions in the game, the majority of times it was clear which side won. So then we would weave that into the ongoing narrative. That would become canon. That faction won that battle. And so we'd have this evolving story that's still on the roadmap, but way down the road.
Right.
We'll probably come up with some short single player campaigns before we do that. But
yeah, I think that the general thinking, though, is that this is a franchise with a lot of possibility. Yeah. We're very excited. One of the reasons why we registered the trademark for In the Black. We think that this has a lot of transparency, a big future, and a lot of that is going to come out to players that, like you watching this right now, and your feedback. These questions are really fantastic, and these comments. I think there's a lot we can do. So a lot of it will again depend on how much traction we get in early access. I have great faith because I feel like we're getting good traction with our trailer, for example, and we've had great coverage from LT Gaming and Obsidian Ant. That's been really inspiring for us and motivating. We're also seeing our wish list go really high, double during the Steam Next Fest. So we have a lot to look forward to and a lot to hope for with that. So thank you. So we will definitely we'll talk more about the single player, and maybe we'll work on a separate trailer. We'll also release more information about the backstory. I know that people have been asking. Maybe we'll cover that in just a future live stream. That'll be a focus. Maybe we'll talk about backstory ideas and narrative and kind of what we've already got. I also really excited that I mentioned this last week really briefly that we were approached by because of the Next Fest and the trailer. Actually, we've got some inbound contact from project manager at a popular space agency. I'll say that the team is chatting with. We have a private channel we set up our Discord where we're just kind of sharing our design and overall. When I can see, he's very impressed. I think there's only a couple of things that he's calling out that we should think about changing a little bit. But overall, we're getting lots of great inbound stuff from people that are, Oh, I just got a note from. I'm going to share a lot of stuff on this live stream. I'm not even sure how much. It's good we don't have a publisher or a marketing team to make me not say stuff. But I'll be very transparent on things. I got a nice email before we did this will be the last thing I'll say, and then we'll go. I can't believe we're talking here for an hour already. It goes by so fast. Easy to hang out with you, Dave, and all the players out there. You guys make it so fun. But years ago, before let me see. It's probably about 5 years ago or something, 6 years ago. I reached out to NVIDIA to see if we could get this game on GFN because I think that would be great. At that time, the game was not very well optimized. It was not running on a Steam Deck. But I still think that this game would be great for GFN. So anyway, a colleague at NVIDIA reached out and we're, I'm going to put him in touch with developers and see if maybe that's something we can do. So hopefully that's something that might interest some of you out there. GFN is such a fantastic service. It'd be cool to have this as an option there. I don't know if GFN supports early access games or not, to be honest, or demos. But maybe they do, and that can open up the more players. I think that flight sticks actually, at least one joystick works. I know a couple of people talk about that. There are some joysticks support for GFN, which is cool. I think they recently supported a steering wheel from Logitech. So I don't think they'd be able to support a huge amount of peripherals, but I think for the basic stuff, it should work good. All right, everybody. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I just got a note from Jack Amias, the director, who's watching. So, hey, Jack, thanks for watching. It's so good to see you watching and participating in the stream. Jack works tirelessly all through the week. The work we're showing off during the live stream about the patch and other stuff happening is largely the result of Jack's vision and leadership of the team. So maybe we'll show we'll share his Halloween costume from last night, which I thought was amazing.
And he does that on top of his own full-time teaching job at Savannah College of Art and Design.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. That wraps up another mission briefing. This is number 4. I'll see you next week for number 5. And we'll talk about the upcoming patch. We'll talk about the patch and other things that he's working on beyond.
There's some really cool stuff coming.
There is some cool stuff coming. Dave, thanks so much for hopping in. It was really great to have you here.
Thank you.
And thank you all for joining out there. Until next time, we'll see you on Discord. Have a great rest of the weekend.